A couple of weeks ago, I received the new Natasha Denona, my dream collection in PR, and I have been dying to try this. I know there have been so many videos that have been posted, but I wanted to sit down and film a video just trying everything out. So in the collection, we have the new My Dream palette. The idea behind this, from what I'm gathering, is that Natasha Denona herself wanted to create her dream eyeshadow palette. So just something that contained absolutely everything for what she personally loves and needs, or what she feels like she needs when it comes to an eyeshadow palette and a collection, I guess. So here's the inside. It's really pretty. We've got a lot of different mixes of textures. There's some cooler tones. There's also some warmer tones in here as well. I'm really excited to dip into this. The packaging is nice. There's a total of 15 shades. Apparently 2 are existing shades. I know for a fact that the Blackest Black is one of her existing shades. It's actually a single, and I saw that she said it was the first product that she launched in her brand, which I think is so cool to have in the palette. The other shade that's a duplicate in here, I think is Serenity. I could not get a clear answer on that. I looked all through their social media. So if you have the answer to this, let me know in the comments down below. The other 13 are brand new shades, or she did say on her Instagram stories, I watched the highlight, some of them are existing shades but new finishes, which is also kind of fun. So I'm excited to dip into this. In addition to the palette, we are going to be trying out the cheek trio, which is fun. Normally she does a cheek quad, but I think a trio is nice. So here's the outer packaging. On the inside, there's a cream blush, a glow cream base, and a dream glow, which is a powder. So there's 2 creams and a powder. And then we also have a lip collection as well. A lip liner, which obviously we'll try, a lipstick, and a gloss. I'm so excited to get into all of these. I wanted this collection as soon as I saw it being teased on Instagram. So I have been really wanting to try this out. I'm gonna do the classic concealer and powder eyeshadow primer situation. So I'm taking my NARS concealer today. I couldn't find my NARS primer. I am in the middle of doing a good deep clean in my beauty room, so I saw it earlier today, but honestly I have no idea where it ended up. So we're going a little old-fashioned with the primer situation, using concealer and powder, but honestly, it works. I also did my brows off camera using my Anastasia Brow Wiz, which I'm loving all over again. I used the shade Ash Brown. I'm gonna pop on a little bit of the Laura Mercier powder. This is the rose-colored powder, just to kind of lightly set that. And then we're gonna do some swatches, just to get a good feel for the overall color story of this palette before actually dipping in. So again, there's 15 shades. The palette retails for $69, so it's on the more affordable side of Natasha Denona, although it's still a very pricey palette. So to me, Natasha Denona is more of a collector's type of a brand, similar to Pat McGrath. It's just something that, like, if you're a makeup lover, you're probably gonna see a reason to invest in something from either of those brands at some point. At least that's how I am. But to me, it's not like a need to invest in some of these more expensive brands unless it's something that really, you know, sparks joy for you. So let me get these swatched and then I'll go through them with you. So overall, these swatched very well. The mattes were very buttery, and the shimmers are always so buttery as well when it comes to Natasha Denona formulas. So I started from the top row and kind of went down to the second and third row. So on the top row, from left to right, we have Blackest Black, Aspiration, Serenity, Carpe Diem, and Babies. That's the first row. Second row is Instinct, Thrill, Unity, Risk, and Invention. This one's insane. This one has such a cool texture. So that's the second row. And then last but not least, we have Vision, Edgy, Spontaneous, Nurture, and Familia. So that's what they all look like swatched across the arm. I try not to watch other people's reviews on palettes and things before I've tried them myself if I know I'm gonna film with them. So I haven't watched anyone's, but I have seen comments on like Instagram and things like that saying that this color story reminds them a lot of the Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance palette. I can see what they're saying now that I've swatched it. It kind of has a similar color story, kind of. The trio chrome colors and things like that are not the same in my opinion, and also some of the textures are a lot more intense and more glittery, just based off the swatches. So similar vibe, but I wouldn't say they're like dupes for each other, just based off the swatches anyway. Let's go ahead and do eyeshadow. Guys, you may notice I got so sunburned this weekend. I am so careful about my sunscreen, you guys, but the weather has been so nice lately. It's been so incredibly nice that I was outside for not even that long, but long enough, and I got sunburned. The weather was like really cool, so for some reason I wasn't overheating, therefore I didn't think that the sun was very strong. I was wrong. So I got a little sunburn. But anyway, let's go ahead and try this out on the eyes. I'm gonna start off with the more cool tone brown transition shade, which is Nurture. Ooh, let's take off the mirror cover while we're at it. It's always so satisfying to me. It has a really nice sized mirror in here. I like this size of Natasha Denona palettes. It's one of my favorites. So I'm gonna take Nurture, which is the more cool tone shade, and we're gonna start just throwing that into the crease and a little bit above as my transition shade. Now I'm trying to not go too overboard. A little goes a long way with these formulas. They're so pigmented. I'm gonna start with a little less on this eye and build it up. I'm kind of fluffing it up toward the brow right here a little bit, just with what's left on the brush. Next, I'm gonna take a little bit of Carpe Diem, which has a bit of a rosy undertone to it actually, and I'm gonna start applying this to the outer edge of the eye, and then I'm gonna blend it in to that Nurture color that we have in the crease. I'm not gonna take this too high though, I'm just gonna leave it at the crease and then kind of blend it in this V shape right here. I'm gonna take an even more dense brush, and I really wanna dip into the shade Aspiration, which is kind of like a purplish brown. I don't really know how to describe this. I'm gonna tap off the excess and we're gonna start building this up on that outer corner as well, just to create even more depth and structure from the crease and then outer corner and then up against the outer portion of the lash line. I'm gonna take the shade Babies, which is a really pretty, I don't really know how to describe this. It kind of has a mauve hint to it. And I'm gonna start taking this on a brush and applying it to the center of the lid. I wasn't initially planning on doing like a cut crease situation, but that's where it's headed and I'm not mad. So I'm just gonna start layering this really precisely in the center of the lid, kind of filling in the gaps where we haven't applied the matte shadow yet, right here, and then just meeting it right at the crease. And then I'm gonna take my fingertip and just intensify that in the center of the lid. This is such a buttery shade, it's so pretty. And then I'm just gonna use the brush to kind of feather out the edges into those empty spaces. I'm going in with the brush that we used with that first transition shade and just gently going around the edges of all the mattes to make sure they're nice and blended. Okay, so now I'm gonna take the shade Thrill, which is also a really cool, kind of chunky, glittery shade. I'm excited about this one. I'm gonna go in with my finger and then just apply this to like the center portion of the lid. This is kind of a duochrome, I think. I don't know. It's like a golden pink shift to it, which I think is really pretty. I absolutely love the shift of that on the eyes. It's a very wearable yet unique color. I'm just gently blending everything in with the brush that we used with the shade Carpe Diem. I didn't add any more product to this, but having a little bit of that kind of warmth on this outer portion I think looks really nice. Kind of helps it blend into the skin a little bit better. I really like where that's at. I don't really want to add anything else, but I want to try the Blackest Black shade since that was like the first product that she ever launched. I think that's so cool. So I'm going to take this and just kind of press it right up against the lash line to create even more depth and definition. That's really nice. I'm not going to worry about like bringing it into the crease or anything. I'm just going to kind of use it as a shadow liner on the outer corner. I think that looks so pretty. Okay. Let's pop on some mascara. I'm gonna take the Rare Beauty mascara and just apply that to the top lashes only for now. We're gonna really layer this up, focusing on the outer corners and also kind of like shifting the lashes outward for more of that elongated eye look. Now I'm just wiping away any fallout under the eyes. There's honestly not much at all. And I'm kind of sharpening up that line on the outer edge, but again, it doesn't need too much cleanup. I'm using the Natasha Denona Hygiene Skin Glass Primer. I really love this product, and I figured I'd use it again since we're talking all things Natasha Denona today. So I'm just gonna apply this all over with my fingers. I'm gonna use my Wander Beauty Nude Illusion Foundation in the shade Fair Light. Since I got a little bit of a sunburn, I feel like this has a little bit of a deeper tone, just slightly, so it might match a little better. So I'm just gonna blend that out all over. And then I'm just pressing that in with my sponge. I'm just blending out the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer. This is in the shade Affogato. I'm adding a bit of contour using the Westman Atelier Face Trace Contour Stick. This is in the shade Biscuit. I've been loving the formula of this. It blends itself out. It's so nice. And then I'm going to take my Laura Mercier powder. This is the rose color again. And I'm going to set the T-zone with a small brush and under the eyes. And then I'm setting the outside of the face with the same powder and a fluffy brush. I'm going to dip into the shade Aspiration. We're going to work on the lower lash line. I'm going to take the same brush that we used with that color on the top lid, and I'm going to start creating definition on the lower lash line using this shade. I'm just taking a light amount and I'm going all the way across to really define that lower lash line. I'm just dusting off that same brush on my Sigma Switch to change the color, and I'm going to go into the shade Babies, which I think is so cute. I watched her Instagram stories, or the story highlight, I guess. And she said she named the shade Babies because she has 3 kids, I think, which I didn't know. How fun is that? I feel like being pregnant, now I notice who has kids and how many. I just thought that was so cute that she named a shade Babies. So I just sprayed that with the MAC setting spray, and I'm going across the center of the eyelid with that color. Same thing, I'm gonna kind of Sigma switch this, which just for reference is this little mat here that I have on my desk that helps me change colors. I love that thing. I'll have it linked down below for you. I am going to take the shade Thrill, which is what we used on like the inner portion of the eye, on the same brush, and I'm gonna spray it as well, just to avoid as much fallout as possible. I like to press it into the back of my hand too. Ooh, that shade is so pretty, especially when it's damp. I'm just gonna quickly wipe away any fallout. There was a little bit with that shade. I'm just gonna dust that away. And then we're gonna take the color that we used. Actually, we're gonna mix both. I'm gonna take Carpe Diem and Nurture, which is what we used in the crease. I'm mixing the two and just tapping off the brush. I'm just gonna run this underneath the shimmers really lightly to kind of just add a bit of that same color onto that lower lash line. That's as much as I want to do. I don't want to go too overboard with that. I'm going to take my powder brush one more time and just sweep over that to blend it even more. And then I'm just going to put mascara on. We're just going to use the same Rare Beauty mascara on those lower lashes. Okay, so that's the eye look complete. I'm probably going to add an inner corner highlight using one of the highlighters from the Cheek Trio. Speaking of the Cheek Trio, that is what we are going to try out next. Here it is again. We're going to start off with the cream blush. I'm going to take this on a dense brush. Now this is the shade Natasha, which is the same color that she created in the lipstick, so it's going to look really nice and monochromatic. It's a very pretty shade. So I'm just going to start stamping this on the cheeks to kind of add a bit of color back to the skin. It actually blends beautifully on top of powder. I wasn't sure if it would, but it does. I really like that. This trio is $48. Just in case you were wondering. This cream base is kind of cool. Look at the print in it. It looks like it would be a powder because of that, but it's actually a cream. I'm going to take the same brush and dip into that. I don't want to ruin it, but I also want to make sure I have enough product on it. On my brush, I mean. I'm just going to start stamping that on the high points of the face. I'm using the same brush so that it kind of blends into the blush a little bit better. Ooh, I love the cream base. I think I've tried this formula before. Yeah, it's in her cheek palettes, right? Am I crazy? And I really, really love it. This color is nice. And then to really top things off, we're gonna go into the Dream Glow, which is the powder shade. A little goes a long way with these Natasha Denona highlighters. That I do know. We're just gonna focus that on the very, very high points of the face. I'm not gonna bring it too close. I'll let the cream do the talking on like the apples of the cheek. So I'm just gonna take it like right here, maybe down the center of the nose a bit. Cupid's bow, a little above the brow. I'm actually gonna take that same color and use this to highlight the inner corner of the eye. Ooh, that looks so pretty. I'm of course taking what's left and applying it right underneath the highest point of the brow. I'm just gonna go over everything with my sponge just to really press that powder into the cream. It's a very intense highlight, which is kind of fun. It's not too sparkly though, which I like. It just gives almost a gloss to the skin, a very intense reflection, which I like. Highlighter for me is definitely more of a special occasion situation now, where, you know, a few years ago it was like you wanted your highlight to be seen in outer space, no matter what time of day it was. Okay, I really like that cheek trio though. I think it made my skin look really fresh and the color is so nice. I'm gonna wipe off any foundation that I got on the lips. Now we're gonna try the Natasha Denona I Need a Nude Lip Crayon. I think this could be an existing shade. This is the shade Natasha, but it does have the packaging. I don't own this in my collection, so I'm excited to try it out. Ooh, I think this is the first Natasha Denona lip liner I've ever tried. It's really smooth. I'm also gonna take the Natasha Denona My Dream lipstick. I do know that this was an existing shade, but she said that it's in a slightly different formula. Look how pretty this is though. Ugh, gorgeous. And I love the soft matte packaging on this. So we're gonna go ahead and apply this on top. Ooh, oh, that lip color. Oh, I love it. Oh, that is so pretty. The formula's nice too. It's really creamy. Oh boy, that's so nice. I'm gonna take my fingertip and just kind of mesh the two together. Since we do have a gloss, I don't want there to be like too much lip product on my lips. Speaking of the gloss, that's what we're gonna dip into now. And this, she said, is the same shade, obviously, also Natasha, but in a formula that it's never been in before. So that's exciting. We're gonna go ahead and apply this. I'm gonna focus the gloss on more of the center of the lips. That's a really nice formula. Okay, this is really coming together. I really like the tones of everything going on my face. I do want a little bit of a powder bronzer. Hold on. I'm gonna take a little bit of my Milani Silky Matte Bronzer and just kind of add a little more depth and definition around the face. Okay, other than that, I really like how much blush we have on, how much highlighter there is. I do think we lost a little bit of definition in the brows, which tends to happen every time I do my brows first. So I'm just gonna kind of redo portions of that. Okay, now that the brows are touched up, I think we're ready to set the face. So I'm gonna use the MAC Fix Plus Stay Over Spray, just all over the face. Gently pressing that in with my sponge. Gosh, this lip color. I'm obsessed with it. It's so pretty. Then I'm gonna take the Anastasia Brow Freeze. Guys, I've been really like using this and really liking it. The whole pomade brow thing, I never really enjoyed it for a while there. I think I just needed the right formula, and this really is a good one. So I'm gonna use this to set. All right, you guys, so that completes this makeup look using the new Natasha Denona My Dream collection. I love how it turned out, okay? Like, I wasn't sure how it would translate after swatching it. I just wasn't sure if it would give me the vibe that I got from looking at the photos of this when it was teased on Instagram, but it did. At least with this look that I created, I just love the kind of pinky mauve undertones in the eye look I created, in the cheeks, in the lips. It is so beautiful. I'm really, really happy with how it turned out. With that being said, there's a lot more colors for me to dip into, so if you want to see me create more looks, let me know in the comments down below. This palette, honestly, I think it flatters me, it inspires me. I'm excited to keep dipping into this and see what other looks I can create. I've seen a lot of people use a lot of the purples. I wanted to do something a little in between, a little wearable. You guys know how I love my wearable glam looks. So that's what I wanted to do first with this palette, but I do feel like I could create some really fun looks using this. As with all Natasha Denona products, and palettes specifically, this is the kind of thing where, because it is an investment, if you're interested in this, look in your collection first and kind of see if you have a similar color story. I do think some of the mattes I probably own. Some of the shimmer textures though, I think that's where Natasha Denona really stands out. I don't really feel like a lot of formulas have the impact that her shimmers have. Not to say you can't like recreate this look with something that you already have, but it's just, they're really special. Some of these shades are really, really cool. If you have a Sephora near you that carries Natasha Denona, I would suggest going in and swatching it if you're like kind of wondering if you want to pick this up, just to see how you feel about it in person. I'm obviously really happy to have this. I did get it sent in PR though. So if I were to pick some things that I would purchase myself, now that I've tried everything, based off of this look, I already would purchase this palette. I was really sold by it on Instagram, so I do think I would have picked this up. I'm gonna try a couple more looks with it and see if it's something that I can get a lot of use out of. For some reason, I feel like I will get more use out of my Glam palette. It's just a palette that I will use every single shade in till the end of time. Some of these purples I feel like I won't get as much use out of, so that could be a con if you're somebody who's wanting to invest in a Natasha Denona palette. I would definitely suggest making sure you pick up a color story that you feel like you'll really use, because if you're gonna spend that much money, you wanna make sure that every shade speaks to you. So I would buy this just because I'm obsessed with Natasha Denona and I love this color story. But if I were to just pick one out of the collection, I would probably still go with the Glam palette. So if you haven't tried any shadows from Natasha Denona, the Glam palette, I feel like I use basically every shade in and it looks so good. It's very foolproof. I think that this cheek palette is so flattering. I love how healthy it made my skin look. Would I buy it myself? Now that I tried it, I feel like it's really good, but at that price point, I feel like I could get a very similar look using some of the palettes I already have. It's so pretty though, but I gotta kind of pick and choose with Natasha Denona products, you know? It's something that you have to really decide what's worth it. So I would choose the eyeshadow palette over the cheek trio. And then honestly, I might even choose the lip stuff over the eye palette at this point. I just think this color is so pretty. And I don't feel like you would need both the lipstick and the gloss unless you're someone who loves to layer a lipstick and a gloss. I feel like you could just pick what finish you like better. If you want something a little more opaque and more satin, you could pick the lipstick. I do really love the lip liner with this though. And obviously if you want the glossy formula, you would just pair the lip liner with just the gloss, and I think you'd get a very similar look. I'm happy with how the three of them look with each other. I think it's one of the prettiest lip colors I've tried in a really long time. So I'm super happy about that. So for me, honestly, I think I'm the most excited about the lip products, which is kind of surprising. Well, not really. When I opened this up, I kind of knew that I would enjoy this color, but now that it's on my lips, it solidified it. So lip products are a thumbs up for me. The eyeshadow palette, oh, it's so pretty as well. Not a need necessarily, but if it inspires you and you want to go for it and you want to invest in it, I don't think you'll be disappointed. I love how this look turned out. And then the cheek trio is also very, very stunning. But again, something that you'd have to kind of assess yourself and see if it's something that you would use. I would highly recommend kind of swatching these in person to see how it would fit on your skin tone as well, because that's also a factor. But overall, this lived up to my personal expectations. I think it's really fun that Natasha kind of created her ultimate collection, and I personally am a fan of all the tones and undertones in this collection. I find them flattering for myself. So I'm so happy with how this look turned out. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing me go through everything and seeing me try everything out. Let me know in the comments down below if this collection spoke to you the way it spoke to me. Everyone's different. That's what's fun, is like there's so many new launches all the time, but when it comes to what you want to invest in, when it comes to makeup, it just has to speak to your soul. And this collection really did that for me. And maybe it didn't for you, and that's totally fine. But I would love to hear from you guys if you're into this collection, or if you're not into this collection, or if you're into portions of it. Tell me in the comments down below. I'd love to hear from you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and let me know what else you want to see me review. There's always new makeup launching, and you guys know how much I love to try new makeup. So let me know what you want to see me try next. I hope you all have an amazing day wherever you are, and I will see you in my next video. Love you. Bye.